The Supreme Court just handed President Trump the ultimate weapon. A 6-3 decision. They authorized nationwide ICE sweeps, and Chicago became ground zero. Operation Midway Blitz launched in honor of Katie Abraham, killed by an illegal alien drunk driver who should have been deported years ago. Within hours, ICE agents were pulling convicted child predators out of hiding while Mayor Brandon Johnson scrambled to build walls. Not at the border, but around his courthouses. Tom Homan's message was crystal clear. No goals, no limits, just results until every criminal illegal is gone. Over 1.5 million have already self-deported. But what happened next outside Naval Station Great Lakes will shock you. And don't look away. Now imagine an opportunity that could grow your wealth while also strengthening your country's future. That is the vision behind Western Star Resources. Western Star Resources is an experienced, publicly traded gold and silver exploration company with a proven track record of advancing high-potential projects. The company combines deep geological expertise with modern exploration techniques to unlock value in some of North America's most prospective mineral regions. With domestic demand for precious metals continuing to rise and with the U.S. government backing stronger domestic exploration, Western Star Resources is positioned for the next stage of growth. The company is advancing active projects in Canada and is actively evaluating opportunities in the United States. Could a huge U.S. expansion be on the cards? Well, I wouldn't bet against them or that plan. Western Star Resources, making gold and silver great again. You can check them out in the link in the description, westernstarresources.com. So the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, she took the podium today in the White House. Our cameras were there rolling when she made this big announcement for the fourth straight month. Listen.
Disastrous. New preliminary data released today by Customs and Border Protection in August shows that President Trump has delivered the most secure border in American history. For the fourth straight month, 0 illegal aliens were released into the United States by CBP. Nationwide encounters are down 93%, below the peak of the Biden administration. Border Patrol apprehensions on the southwest border in the entire month of August were less than what was apprehended in 4 days in August 2024 under the Biden administration. President Trump has ended disastrous Biden illegal alien invasion, and he sealed our border in record time, keeping this central promise he made to the American public. New preliminary data released today by...
And then we have this big news about the Supreme Court. This from the press secretary.
Of illegal. This administration is focused on the detention and deportation of illegal alien criminals who broke our nation's immigration laws. And the Supreme Court upheld the Trump administration's right to stop individuals in Los Angeles to briefly question them regarding their legal status because the law allows this, and this has been the practice of the federal government for decades. And the Immigration and Nationality Act states that immigration officers can briefly stop an individual to question them about their immigration status if the officer has reasonable suspicion that the individual is illegally present in the United States. And reasonable suspicion is not just based on race, it's based on a totality of the circumstances to review. And I will tell you, I spoke to our border czar about this morning. When ICE goes out to conduct a targeted operation to deport illegal criminals from our community, they are doing so with intelligence. They are doing so with law enforcement sources. They are doing so in most cases with the backing of local law enforcement who know exactly where these illegal alien criminals and drug traffickers and drug dealers are hiding in plain sight in American communities. And the men and women of ICE are doing everything they can to not only follow the law, but to enforce the law. And it's about time that has happened because we had 4 years of an administration who completely ignored and evaded our nation's very clear immigration laws, and the Supreme Court has reaffirmed that. This administration...
The Supreme Court reaffirming that he can unleash ICE in Chicago. As you know, we produced that meme that President Trump posted over the weekend, the Chipocalypse Now meme, totally going worldwide. But, it's just a message that President Trump is sending, that we're going to clean up Chicago. The Supreme Court sending the message as well. Here's Tom Homan torching Mika Brzezinski, who's accusing ICE of disappearing people.
You got to wait.
I'd love some transparency as to why a lot of these people have been disappeared. You say you have data. We would love to see it. The American people should see this data.
Well, here's the rhetoric again, right? You just meant disappeared. That was a ridiculous thing to say.
Why?
Because ICE is doing the same thing we've done for decades. But because of the last 4 years, ICE wasn't allowed to enforce the law. ICE was told to sit back, and you can't arrest an illegal alien for simply being here illegally. You got to wait till they commit a serious crime and get convicted of that crime. That's what Secretary Mayorkas' instructions were. And that's why you saw so much crime in this country coming from the illegal alien population, because there's no law enforcement. But we're doing the same thing right now that we did when I started back in 1984. ICE agents are enforcing the laws enacted by Congress. They're appropriated funding to enforce these laws. If you don't like what ICE is doing, then go protest Congress. However, to say we disappeared people, no. We're arresting people that are in the country illegally and are public safety threat. We know exactly who we're going to arrest when we go look for them. We have a case file in front of us. We have all those facts. This is not disappearing people. This is a planned, targeted enforcement operation that we're doing. And the comments like you just made is one of the reasons why these men and women are under threat every day. Not just the men and women in ICE, but their spouses and their
Look at her face. He says, you're the reason that these people are under threat every single day. Look at her face. Oh, man. I'm going to just tap it back like 10 seconds. Watch her reaction.
And comments like you just made is one of the reasons why these men and women are under threat every day. Not just the men and women in ICE, but their spouses and their children.
Look at her biting her lip. She's going like, oh, yeah, I'm a jerk. In her mind, she says she knows she's guilty of perpetuating those narratives, putting those people's lives at risk.
Not disappearing people. They're enforcing the law. And the data proves that 70% of these people are criminals.
Could we see that data?
Absolutely. I have no problem sharing any data from it. I read it every morning.
I'd love some transparency.
Yeah, how about some transparency from MSNBC? Mayor Karen Bass says she's going to bring justice to the Supreme Court ruling. Really? Yeah.
This type of let me just say, we will bring justice to this issue, to our community. We will not stand for this type of discrimination and racism. Thank you.
It's not discrimination and it's not racism. These people are here illegally. Okay? It has nothing to do with race. But that's what they play the race card all day long. Here's more. This is 6 hours ago. Tom Homan stunning reporters. Gunter Eagleman writes, after they tried to get him to tone down his goals on deportations. What? You don't get Tom Homan. You don't try to get him to tone anything down.
And identifying themselves or answering questions about that, are those not real?
They will identify themselves in a safety, secure environment. Now, if they're surrounded by a bunch of people who are proposing danger, safety first. Well, I guarantee when someone's arrested and put in detention, they know who arrested them, that person's identified himself.
Mr. Homan, the Georgia raid.
Pardon me?
Sorry?
I missed you.
On Hyundai?
Hyundai.
The raid in Georgia?
Yeah.
I mean, is the administration in touch with the Korean government right now? What's sort of the update there? And then also, I mean, how much is the administration doing to work with South Korea on those permits? And then for other companies?
I appreciate the question, but I'm not in the loop on that case. I can just tell you, I'm not in the loop on that one. I'm border czar. I'm doing a lot. I'm not familiar with that case, but I will say this. I said from day one, we're going to increase worksite enforcement operations. It's a crime to enter this country illegally, and it's also a crime to knowingly hire an illegal alien. They drive down wages, and they put companies that hire U.S. citizens out of business. And I can give you many examples of that. Every day, illegal aliens are employed by companies, undercut their competition that hires illegal aliens. They drive wages down.
Okay, but here's what I don't understand. He says I'm out of the loop on that one? That was one of the biggest one-day ICE operations in U.S. history at a specific Hyundai plant. I don't know. How can he be out of the loop on that? Did I hear the question correctly? I don't know. That just seemed like an odd answer to me.
No one hires an illegal alien out of goodness of their heart. They hire them because they work them harder, pay them less. Just like the farmers. There's a way a farmer can bring someone on, but they got to pay decent wages, got to provide housing. There's a right way and wrong way to do this, and President Trump demanded we do things the right way.
Mr. Homan, can we get some Spanish-speaking surrogates to deliver this message that you're giving, because we have media that refuses to give the correct information, and they're giving the misinformation, causing the fear in the communities. Can we get some Spanish surrogates to go ahead and give them the right information so they know exactly what app to go to, so that they can go and do things the legal and the right way and the law and orderly way?
I think we do, but I agree with you. We could expand that, so I'll take that for action.
Thank you.
How does Operation Midway Blitz differ from...
And wants to make Chicago safe again. And nothing's changing. We're still prioritizing public safety threats and national security threats. It's just we're sending more resources to sanctuary cities. President Trump said from day one, we're going to prioritize sanctuary cities because that's where the problem is. We know they're releasing public safety threats back in the community every day. We're going to go where the biggest problems are. The biggest problems are sanctuary cities.
What kinds of new resources?
More boots on the ground.
To community members and leaders who are worried about profiling, what do you say? Are due process rights being violated?
No, look. ICE agents aren't racially profiling. The law says you've got to establish reasonable suspicion to detain and question somebody, and I think the men and women, ICE and Border Patrol, are doing exactly that. And I think the Supreme Court disagreed with us in California case. There's a myriad of factors that take into consideration. They learn that in the academy. Every 6 months, ICE agents have a refresher training on Fourth Amendment that gives them the rules around detention, seizure, arrest, questioning, and so forth. They're very well trained. They bring a group of factors together until they establish reasonable suspicion to make an arrest. Like the big story was the jumping on back of Van Home Depot, how they established reasonable suspicion. Were they there when they did surveillance? Were they there when license plate numbers were copied and taken down and tried to build a case on who's hiring these people and where these people came from? Were they there when they run NCIC and III and intelligence data? Were they there when they screened social media data? The men and women at ICE do a good job, and they do it professionally, and they do it with integrity. So I think the Supreme Court agreed with us yesterday. Things are being done the right way.
Sir,
the president has talked about a program to
Illinois
help
Governor
farmers.
J.B.
Can you give us the status of
Pritzker, he
that?
said on MSNBC that ICE is planning to, quote, invade Chicago. He later shared resources with us.
The only invasion that occurred was 10.5 million illegal aliens came to our border, invaded this country, and were illegally released into the United States. In defiance of federal law. Federal law says you come to our border without proper documentation, you shall be detained. Not think about it. Not release them to NGO. You know what happened in the 4 years, which no one talks about? Why did it release millions of people into the United States when there are thousands of empty ICE beds? Why did they do that? Because if you're in ICE detention, you get a hearing within 35, 40 days. 90% lose their case. They simply don't qualify for asylum. They get on an airplane, they get sent home. That's not what they wanted. Release them to an NGO. The hearings are 5, 7, 9 years out if you go through the entire appeal process. What happens then? They're hoping for another Democratic leadership that can warrant amnesty to millions of people. They sold this country out for future political power. President Trump is enforcing the law. That's one thing no one wants to talk about. ICE isn't making it up. They're enforcing the law. That's what they're doing. Because it hasn't been enforced in 4 years, and everybody's shocked right now what ICE is doing. They've been doing this since I started in 1984. They've been doing this for decades, but because the last 4...
Man. Tom Homan, right there. 6-3 decision, Supreme Court sided with the Trump administration, allowing ICE to resume aggressive immigration raids in California. Justice Sonia Sotomayor dissented, warning against targeting people who look Latino or speak Spanish. Of course she would. Here is the news as it broke.
The Supreme. All right, we top this new hour with the Fox News alert, and breaking just moments ago, the Supreme Court handing the Trump administration's sweeping immigration agenda a major victory. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Sandra Smith in New York, and Bill, I might add that father.
So, yeah, you know what this means, right? It means that the gloves are off, that he can go into Chicago and get things done. DHS Homeland Security posting this 24 hours ago. DHS launching Operation Midway Blitz in honor of Katie Abraham. This ICE operation will target the criminal illegal aliens who flock to Chicago.
Scene.
A video posted by Homeland Security. Here is National Border Patrol Council President Paul Perez.
They're enforcing immigration law as it is on the books. You know, these are targeted enforcement actions. You know, we use a number of factors to determine where we're going to go and who we're going to go after. And many of these people, they run as soon as our agents and officers get there. So that as well is an articulable fact that can be used for reasonable suspicion. And we can go after them, we can chase them down, and then our investigation begins to determine whether this person's legally or illegally in the country, and then we take them into custody based on, you know, the answers that they give. So, you know, Karen Bass and those other Democrats that are demonizing our agents, they need to stop, because it makes it a lot more dangerous for our agents to do the job that they were trained and swore to do. They're enforcing immigration.
And that's their whole point. They want to make it harder for them. Here's Tom Homan on CNN.
American City. So the governor of Illinois responded to President Trump's post. He wrote, quote, "The president of the United States is threatening to go to war with an American city."
There's my meme again. Holy cow.
This is not a joke. This is not normal. Donald Trump isn't a strong man. He's a scared man. Illinois won't be intimidated by a wannabe dictator, unquote. Is President Trump planning to go to war in Chicago?
Oh, my goodness.
Look, I think it's worth being taken out of context. If I say we're going to war with the criminal cartels. We're going to war with illegal aliens, public safety threats that rape children, that raped citizens, that committed armed robberies, that distribute narcotics that kill Americans. We're at war with the criminal cartels, and Governor Pritzker protects criminal, illegal alien, public safety threats every day in that state, along with Mayor Johnson. We proved that. The first week of the administration, I went to Chicago. I started an operation there. The first day, we arrested 9 sexual predators, most of them child rapists. We arrested 9 members of TDA. Several of those TDA members had a pistol, an illegal pistol with a switch on it, which makes that pistol fully automatic. We arrested 2 illegal aliens that had a homicide conviction. That was the first day in Chicago. So, you know, President Trump and this administration, yeah, we're at war with the criminal cartels and those who want to murder and rape the American citizens. You're damn right.
So maybe it should say criminal aliens in Chicago are about to find out why it's called the Department of War, not Chicago itself. The governor of Illinois responded.
I wrote it that way specifically, okay? I didn't intend to make it, you know, specific to your demographic, pal. That's so funny. Holy cow, that's hilarious. Let's see here. Chicago One Ray. Still think Trump is playing? He just fined 2 illegals $300,000 who overstayed their visas.
Filed by Justice Lyons. The president wants them to pay up and get out. Investigative reporter Hilda Gutierrez joins us now with the exclusive story. Hilda.
These civil lawsuits were filed by Justice Department attorneys just this week. They were looking to collect more than $300,000 combined from 2 Bay Area immigrants accused of staying in the country after a judge ordered their removal. But immigration attorneys argue the penalties are excessive and unconstitutional. The notices from ICE showed up in June at a San Francisco apartment in the Mission and another in San Bruno. The letter stating 2 undocumented immigrants were being hit with hefty fines. The reason? For not leaving the country after a judge ordered their removal when they missed hearings in immigration court. One of them was given a deportation order in July of last year and now faces $300,000 in fines. The other missed her hearing this past March and owes more than $40,000.
So we are expecting to see.
Yeah. If you mess around, you're going to find out. Wow. What's this? Michael Stover of Downers Grove posted that he would do something horrible to ICE agents. Like, well, now it was in federal custody. Wow, okay, let's take a look at the local news on that. Downers Grove, that's not too far from me.
In this picture, the I-Team tonight following the arrest of a man the FBI says threatened to kill federal agents. Federal authorities say Michael Stover of Downers Grove made multiple posts online threatening to kill ICE agents and was already known to law enforcement for allegedly threatening public officials, also on social media earlier this year. You can see the suspect, 33-year-old Michael Stover, in this picture posted to his wife's public Facebook page. He was taken into custody by federal agents this morning and made his first appearance in federal court this afternoon, facing charges he threatened to kill immigration agents and harm public officials. Authorities say he previously possessed multiple weapons, but in May of 2025, Downers Grove police deemed Stover a clear and present danger, and following a domestic disturbance call, seized 5 rifles, a shotgun, 6 handguns, and ammunition, including 5 rifle rounds with the first names of well-known political figures written in marker, according to court documents. He also posted a photograph of those 5 rifle bullets placed on top of 2 hunting knives to a Facebook group, authorities say. Stover's FOID card was revoked by Illinois State Police on May 8th, according to court filings. He was active and exceedingly extreme online, even through last night, authorities say, posting on his Blue Sky account, "ICE is a terrorist organization. Share this if you think we should shoot them down like dogs. ICE is a private military answering exclusively to powers hostile to the United States and the people. It is unconscionable that we do not hunt and lynch them for treason." In May of 2025, the Secret Service was alerted to his posts by the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, previously posting, according to the FBI, there is a time for rhetoric and a time for riflery, and was interviewed by the U.S. Secret Service following his alleged threats to the president. The federal complaint also stating authorities were told Stover at one point took medication for his mental health. Stover did not enter a plea. He will be back in court next week for a detention hearing and will remain in federal custody at least until then.
Yeah, you just found out too, buddy. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is what winning looks like, folks. The Supreme Court just gave ICE the green light to do their job, and Operation Midway Blitz is delivering justice for Katie Abraham and countless other American victims. Juan Gaspar, convicted, gone. 1.5 million illegals self-deporting because they know the game's over. But watch the contrast. While ICE agents risk their lives removing predators, protesters wave Mexican flags outside of Naval Station Great Lakes, literally showing us where to send them. Mayor Johnson allegedly deploying salt trucks to block federal agents. Governor Pritzker building walls around courthouses. Karen Bass calls it racism to remove convicted criminals. They're choosing illegal alien felons over American families every single time. And Tom Homan's zero-tolerance policy is working. Threaten an ICE agent, go to jail, period. So here's my question. Should sanctuary city officials face federal charges for obstructing justice? Drop your answer below. And if you want to support our efforts here, check out shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and check out our patriotic merch collection.